SmackDown's go-home show to the Royal Rumble 2019. Did it deliver? Or was it a train wreck? We'll talk all about it coming up in this week's SmackDown review and reaction. But first, I want to thank all you guys that tuned into yesterday's Monday Night Raw review and reaction show. It was well received. You guys really enjoyed it, and I'm glad you did because I put my all into that video, into that reaction and review show. All of the facts, research, and knowledge that I possibly could have gave to you guys, I gave to you in that video. And I know at times it was hard-hitting. It was very amplified. I know at times I probably took some of your favorite superstars and I hit them kind of hard. I'm glad you guys understood why it was being done. It's not because I'm throwing shade at individuals or throwing any hate to these superstars. I have nothing but love for these superstars, and I thank them every day for what they do for us and put on the entertainment for us. But you guys understood why I was hitting a lot of these individuals hard. It's tough love. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them prosper. I want to see these individuals become larger than life. So I hit these individuals hard, and I hit these shows hard for the betterment of the business, for the betterment of the company. That's why I am so hard-hitting and so harsh at times on this channel. I feel that if I have a voice on a platform like this, which I do, I have to be truthful in order to help the business. And that's what I'm always going to be about. Facts. I'm going to do my research and I'm going to hit you guys with the truth, even if it hurts. And that was well received, man, and that was really good to see. It goes to show that when I say I want the best subscribers, I don't want just anybody smashing the subscriber button to this channel. I want the really strongest of the strong. And I don't just mean muscle-wise. You ain't got to be jacked up like the Amplified Man, but emotionally. Psychologically, I need you guys to be the strongest one. So when I call upon you, if we need to march down to Stamford, Connecticut one morning, I need to know that the unit's behind me. If we need to come down on a company or help rise up a company, I need to know that the Amplified unit is around me, and I need to know that those are the strongest individuals, the strongest subscribers I could have found out there in the wrestling world. Other channels, they just have any Joe Schmo, Tom, Dick, and Harry smashing the subscription button. And then when they get their feelings hurt, they start crying about it. I'm gonna unsubscribe. Have a field day. I could give two shits if you fucking unsubscribe. Get the fuck out of here. I want the strongest of the strong. Again, not just physically, I'm talking emotionally, psychologically. You can deal with truth. You can handle it. You're okay with accepting knowledge. That's what I'm talking about when I say when you press the subscription button for this channel, you are becoming an Amplified Unit member. That's a tall order. If you can't handle it, don't subscribe. And you guys, man, you came through yesterday because I know it was hard-hitting, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to fucking ruffle feathers here. It's going to be fun, though, because I like being the bad guy anyway. But you guys came through and you understood why I was doing it. I cannot thank you enough because it shows that what I am trying to do on this channel is succeeding. I'm getting the toughest motherfuckers, the strongest Amplified Unit members. And we're going to make an impact sooner than later. Much sooner rather than later, trust me. And for those of you that stuck around to the very end of that video yesterday on that Raw review reaction, you got a little bit of a surprise, right? You thought I was going to smash the camera and the video was going to end, but I had a little bit of bonus video at the end. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed that as well. That was also well received. Speaking of surprises, before I get to the SmackDown review reaction for the go-home show to the Rumble, epic or train wreck, I want to stick with surprises for a second. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. This Sunday, there will be a podcast on this channel, BC's Pro Wrestling Amplified Podcast. It'll be the 4th ever podcast that I am putting on. And for those of you that are newer to the channel or you've never caught a podcast before, what I do every Sunday is I put together a 2-hour show on this channel. It's in podcast format, which means it is very long, 2 hours at least, and we cover a multitude an amplified amount of topics in the pro wrestling world. From news to just hot topics, situations that are arising, breaking news, you name it. I even take stories and I blow them up into what I call scenes. At times, I've given these scenes a half an hour dedicated to just that one topic. And we do at least 3 scenes every Sunday, so it's just 2 hours of just everything you can think of when it comes to wrestling, man. And we just talk wrestling 2 hours. So that's what the podcast is. If that sounds like something you might like, tune in this Sunday, Royal Rumble Sunday. The morning of the Rumble, I am going to have my 4th ever podcast. And I'm going to let you guys know right now what the featured scenes are going to be. You guys always want me to do this, I am going to, in scene number 1 this Sunday, I am going to have the NXT TakeOver Phoenix review show. So I am going to review NXT TakeOver in scene 1 of this Sunday's podcast. In scene 2, immediately after in the same video, I am going to do the Royal Rumble preview show. Usually that's a separate video. That is going to be a part of the podcast now. So right after you get the NXT review, you're going to get the Royal Rumble preview. And then in scene 3, this is a big one. You guys have been asking this for a long time for me to bring it back. Scene 3 this Sunday will be the return of Amplified Q&A. If you're newer to the channel, every Thursday I used to do an Amplified Q&A. And on the SmackDown video, everybody would leave their question, and I would try to answer as many as I could the following day, which was Thursday. I had to do away with that because the channel started to grow a little bit much larger, which is a good thing, and I couldn't get to even half the questions. But what I am going to do for Royal Rumble, and because it is my 4th ever podcast, we are going to bring back Q&A. So here's the rules, guys. This video only. Down in the comment section, if you got a question for the Amplified Man, I cannot get to all of them. So apologies in advance if I do not get to your question. But I will get to as many as I possibly can, because again, this is only a part of a 2-hour podcast this Sunday on this channel. So I can't get to all the questions, but if you do have a question for the Amplified Man, ask it down below, and this Sunday I will try to answer it, or at least as many as I can. Please, this is the rule, guys, because this was the problem back when I was doing this, back on Thursdays. When I was doing it. And this is the biggest problem I had. You guys started putting your questions in paragraph form, man. Your questions were in paragraphs. There's no way I could fit that into a show. Or at least dissect what the actual question is. So I'm only going to answer questions, guys, that are a sentence long. If you cannot fit your question into a sentence, I cannot answer it. Because something tells me there's going to be more than 25, 30 questions, at least. Way more, probably. So keep it short, please, guys. That's all I ask. And if you do that, then scene 3, right after I do NXT TakeOver, right after I do Royal Rumble Amplified Preview, I'm going to do Amplified Q&A. And then, of course, we're going to have all the late-breaking, up-to-date, latest news and even rumors. I'll even throw out some rumors of what we're hearing, who might be in town, but everything that has to do with the Royal Rumble will be in the opening credits and the end credits of this Sunday's podcast. So I did want to take a few minutes to let you guys know that this is going to be the biggest podcast I've done to date. Not only because it's Royal Rumble Sunday, but we have a lot to get to, man. NXT TakeOver review, Royal Rumble preview, Amplified Q&A, all the news and rumors for that night's Royal Rumble. Man, I'm excited just talking about it. I can't wait to film it, and I can't wait for you guys to watch, man. So we're going to have some fun this Sunday. So a lot of people were wondering, Royal Rumble, is there going to be a podcast, BC? Yeah, damn right there is. Tune into this channel Sunday morning, and you'll get it. Should we get to SmackDown now, right? I think I got all the news that I wanted you guys to know up front, and the thank yous for the reception that Monday Night Raw's review got yesterday. So now I think we can move on and talk some SmackDown. And this SmackDown, when it was all said and done, we can all say was better than Monday Night Raw. But more than that, this was a solid show. It was not a train wreck. So we'll start off with Becky Lynch, or as Charlotte calls her, Bex. I hate that nickname, man. Bex. Begs it. Becky Lynch starts off SmackDown. She's in the ring and she's doing just a bland promo. And this is not Becky. This is not why we love Becky Lynch. This isn't the new Becky Lynch that we love. This isn't the man Becky Lynch. This is just another wrestler, just another scripted promo. And this is exactly what is not going to set Becky Lynch apart from anyone else. This is what I mean about momentum. This is what I mean about bad booking, and this is what I mean about somebody just going right back into obscurity after 6 months. She's talking about main eventing WrestleMania. All of us can agree, while we love Becky Lynch, we're nowhere near as captivated as we were back around Survivor Series with her and Ronda Rousey, and everyone was all excited, and Becky Lynch's character was new, it was fresh, it was organic, it was natural. And then she's heading into a big match with Ronda. I mean, it was at an all-time high, that momentum, and this is what I mean about it just doesn't feel the same. Yes, fans still chant, Becky, Becky, and you still get the golf clap. But you're fooling yourself if you're honestly going to look in the mirror and say, I feel the same way about Becky today as I did 3 months ago. Bullshit, man. And it's okay not to feel the same way. It's okay. I know it's almost like you're cheating on it, right? Like, fuck, I'm sorry, Becky, I love you, but the excitement is gone. It is, guys. It's okay to feel that way. You know why? Because we're all feeling the same way. The excitement is gone. It is. She's a much bigger player than she was even 6 months ago, 9 months ago, especially a year ago, no question. But we've always loved Becky. We've never stopped loving Becky. We've never stopped trying to support her. I've never been the biggest Becky Lynch fan, I'm not gonna lie, but we always loved her, we always supported her, we always wanted to see her do better, and booking to be better for her like we did for most of the females. Naomi, Ember, I can go on and on all day. I'll be here all day telling you which individuals deserve better booking. But Becky Lynch, man, there was this freshness and this badass just vibe and this aura and everything, her presence, and now it just seems like another female wrestler, another wrestler at large. Male or female, doesn't matter, just seems like another one. And she goes out there last night and she just cuts a bland promo. And talking about how Asuka is definitely a beast in the division. And she saw how devastating she was in NXT. She's just bumping up her competitor like everyone else does. And then at the very end, after you're done bumping them up, then you take them down a little bit. But I'm better than Asuka, is what she says. Ooh! There's a zinger. There's a Stone Cold-esque promo. Asuka's great, but I'm better. Come on, Becky Lynch can't do better than that. This is a woman who on social media blows motherfuckers up. She's zinging and zanging motherfuckers because she's going for the knockout punch on social media. We're all oohing and ahhing when we read a Becky Lynch tweet. We feel bad for the people that Becky Lynch is tweeting. We feel bad because they're getting annihilated. She can't take any of that into the ring? That kind of Becky Lynch can't show herself? No. Vince can't have Becky above Charlotte or anyone. No, you gotta keep her grounded. Don't go above Charlotte Flair. You stay grounded. You stay below Charlotte. We can't have you going and cutting awesome epic promos. That'll get the fans really behind you. That might get you momentum. Can't have Becky Lynch get that white hot momentum again, so Vince has her promos nice and scripted, just like everyone else. Don't give her any room to breathe. Don't give her any any room to be herself. Don't let her say things that are fresh and organic, fresh off her mind, fresh off the top of her head. No, that'll be too epic. So Becky Lynch is in there. If it seems like I'm taking several minutes talking about her promo, you're damn right I am, because these are the little things that may go past your guys' heads, but it ain't going past the Amplified man's. I expect somebody like Becky Lynch, who everyone's talking about main eventing, and if that's gonna be true, I'll be okay with it, but you gotta make her the Becky Lynch man character that we fell in love with back in October. September, October, November, whatever the fuck, SummerSlam, whatever the fuck time frame, that's who we need. It's just another wrestler again right now, man. The excitement is gone. You guys, some of you guys want to argue that the momentum is still there. Not only is that dead, I'm gonna double down. Forget the momentum. The excitement is even gone. So the momentum and the excitement is gone right now. Right now, I feel the chants and the Beckys and all that, man, that's just running on fumes. That's gonna stall out way before WrestleMania on that road. If you're taking that vehicle on the road to WrestleMania, the fumes alone you're hoping are gonna get you there, you're gonna stall out and you're gonna be hitchhiking on the side of the road. And you're gonna have to hope that somebody picks you up along the way to get you to WrestleMania, let alone the main event. Not happy with that promo at all. It's Becky Lynch, damn it. She should be doing better. We demand better, and I know if Becky Lynch looks in the mirror, she demands better of herself. That should be the last time Becky Lynch ever goes in the middle of that ring and cuts a bland, lackluster, mundane promo like that. Then Asuka comes out. Asuka starts spewing shit that who the fuck knows. Same shit from, and this is what I mean about the same. Becky Lynch is just doing the same thing as everyone else. Asuka's the same thing. Asuka is just doing her scripted little nobody ready for Asuka. Whatever the fuck she says. And I love Asuka. You guys know I'm huge on Asuka. Big time Asuka fan. But fuck, man. There's no originality. There's no freshness. Her with that championship. What is it doing? So, anyway, you have, oh, this is a zinger. I love this. That's sarcasm. While Asuka and Becky Lynch are doing their little face-to-face promo, Charlotte Flair comes down to the ring. That's right, Charlotte Flair. Can somebody tell me why the fuck we need Charlotte Flair down there? Why is Charlotte Flair in this promo, this face-to-face at all? She has no business. She's not in the match. She's not in line for a title opportunity. This is between Asuka and Becky Lynch. Vince McMahon needs Charlotte Flair in anything and everything Becky Lynch is doing. If Becky Lynch is anywhere, she could be in aisle 5 at the local supermarket. Vince needs Charlotte there so she can get the rub. Anything to get a rub off of Becky. If Becky is running on fumes from what she once had as in momentum and excitement, if she's running on fumes, Vince is going to make sure that Charlotte Flair is there to rip all of those fumes, suck them all up, and take them all in. Charlotte Flair is going to suck all those fumes right out of Becky Lynch until there's nothing left of Becky Lynch. Charlotte tried to steal the character, and now she's trying to steal any momentum and excitement that Becky Lynch has left. It's the truth. There's no other reason you can tell me Charlotte Flair comes down the ringside when two ladies are trying to discuss their title match this Sunday. What the fuck are you doing? You don't got the championship. You're not the number one contender. You're just another participant, one of 30 in the Rumble. Act like it. Get in line. Of course not. Of course not. It doesn't matter if... don't you guys see the bigger picture? It doesn't matter if Asuka has the championship, if Becky Lynch has the championship. It doesn't matter if the fans are totally behind Asuka, Becky Lynch. It doesn't matter. Charlotte Flair will always be the one in the... It's like Roman Reigns, but for the females. Right? Even when Roman didn't have a championship, he was always the one who Vince was putting... He wanted you to know that that's the big dog, the big dog, the big dog. Charlotte Flair, he is going to make you know that she is the queen, the queen, the queen. Now, even when she doesn't have the title, or she's not in the title picture, so you think, yes, she is. She's always 2 steps behind. That really just pissed me off. And I like Charlotte Flair. You guys know that. I think she's one of the best wrestlers in the world today. Wrestlers. Not just females. One of the best wrestlers, man. I'm sick of just breaking up the gender. She's one of the best wrestlers, man. When you look at when she started and how fast she learned this thing we call wrestling, pro wrestling, dude, she's amazing. And she has her critics and her haters on social media. I see it all. But it's unjust and unjustified if you're talking about her pro wrestling ability. But I can understand why people would be disgusted about her being shoved down people's throat. That's because she is. Let other ladies have their feud. Charlotte will be back on top. Charlotte will be in big storylines. Charlotte will have that championship, trust me, many times in the future. She's that damn good. But right now, Vince has 2 other ladies in there. That should be it. But no. Vince is like, I have a method to my madness. Charlotte right now is getting the booze because people feel I'm forcing her down everyone's throat. So maybe if I do what he used to do with Roman Reigns, I'll put him with the IC championship. Or I'll take him out of the main storyline while all the while they'll still be in the main storyline. Hope that makes sense. But that's what I'm seeing here. There was no reason for Charlotte to be down at ringside. Again, if it seems like I'm taking too long talking about Charlotte Flair coming down the ringside, it's because I am, and I will continue to do such when they book such shittiness. Because that's bullshit. That angered me very much. Let Becky and Asuka do their little bland promo. We don't need you, Charlotte. Thanks for coming down. Asuka ends up using the distraction. You could say, BC, it was for a distraction. No, bullshit. It's because Vince McMahon has an agenda. But they used that whole thing to set up Asuka attacking Becky Lynch, and they had to do that because Charlotte wasn't getting physical, so that was a way for Charlotte to mingle her way back to the locker room. Because if you noticed, after Asuka jumped Becky Lynch, Charlotte was nowhere to be found again. So that was a way to get Charlotte to make herself relevant in the title picture, even though she's not right now. And then she gets to sneak backstage. Well played, Vince. Asuka and Becky Lynch brawl around ringside for a good couple of minutes. It was a pretty good brawl, pretty decent. Referees trying to break them up. And that's that. We cut to commercial. When we come back from commercial, they're still brawling backstage. So I like that brawl type atmosphere, that chaotic atmosphere. That's how you build up a championship match, with that type of brawl. That beat any type of a build for Royal Rumble that Monday Night Raw did. Monday night. Nothing seemed like it was selling us on the Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch and Asuka, with the brawl, that did that. What that whole promo segment with Charlotte Flair was beforehand, I don't know what the fuck that was. That was nauseating. And that was to push an agenda that is bullshit up front anyway, so I'm not buying that shit. Just give me that brawl between Becky and Asuka. That's all we needed to see. Then we all could have moved on with our lives. Like we're about to do right now for this review show. We're going to go into Mandy Rose taking on Naomi. Now, for some reason, just like Charlotte nonsensically being down at ringside for Becky and Asuka, you have Sonya Deville still being right side by side with Mandy Rose, like they're 2 peas in a pod. 2 humans in a potato sack. Why? The graphics said Mandy Rose versus Naomi. I don't need to see Sonya Deville attached to her hip every single time she's out there just to make people know that Sonya Deville is still with the company. Yes, we know she is. We don't know why she is. We don't know how or why she jumped everybody else in NXT. But she's there. Nonsensically there, but she's there nonetheless. Does she really need to be the manager of Sonya Deville? Because that's all she's portraying right now. Or I'm sorry, fucking Mandy Rose. That's all Sonya is doing. Anyway, Sonya comes down the ringside. Naomi jumps to the outside before Mandy can even get to the ring. All she does is push Sonya Deville, and Sonya Deville is acting like she just got knocked out by a 2x4, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan is running away. What the fuck was that, man? It was a push, and Sonya Deville is basically knocked out. Says a lot about Sonya's selling, too, but maybe Naomi could have laid into her a little more. Who the fuck knows? But Mandy Rose finally gets in the ring, and we have a match. Now, this is a subpar match because we all know Mandy Rose's skill level is still down here. That's not knocking her. She still has a ways to go. I will say this about Mandy. She's leaps and bounds better than when she first started. She has improved tenfold. Again, she was so green that that's not really saying much right now. So she still needs to learn the business and whatnot, and that's understandable. Let's give her the time, and let's see if she can do this pro wrestling thing. She takes a lot of heat, I know, but I'm going to give her a chance. Vince McMahon has definitely given her a chance, trying to give her a push. He used a little bit of her sexuality to kind of build the character. Last night, a big victory over Naomi. And I know people are pissed, and you're thinking, BC, you must be pissed because I'm a huge Naomi fan, but I'm not so pissed. I understand Vince wants to see what Sonya Deville. See, it's working. It's working. Not only does he want people to know Sonya Deville is still with the company, but he wants you to put her name in your head. Sonya Deville, Sonya Deville, Sonya Deville. Mandy Rose. Vince wants Mandy Rose. He wants to see what she has. You know, can she carry storylines? Can she get a reaction? And if not, she'll go into obscurity. And if she can, she'll be something in the business. I'm going to let Vince have his experimental phase. And if that's at the expense of Naomi, I'm okay with it because two things happen for Naomi. One is what could happen at Royal Rumble. I fully expect Naomi to get the revenge. I fully expect Naomi to throw Mandy Rose and maybe even Sonya Deville, both of them, over the top rope. And Naomi gets, I know, BC, that's not a lot of revenge, but come on, man. All Mandy Rose did last night was get a SmackDown Live win over Naomi. At the pay-per-view, if Naomi is able to keep her from a title opportunity, that's pretty big. I call that even. So Naomi can get her revenge at the Rumble. And number two, this made Naomi, gave her a storyline at least. Naomi has been in obscurity in 2018, just like Sasha Banks and Ember Moon. But just like I always said about Sasha Banks and the Raw Championship, even though Ronda Rousey has that situation hostage, basically, that doesn't mean you can't have a secondary storyline for Sasha. I said the same thing over on SmackDown for Naomi. Just because you have the title held hostage by Charlotte or Becky or even Asuka now, doesn't mean Naomi can't have a storyline. No matter how good you guys think the storyline is, at least give her the storyline. Give her the time of day. Give her segments. Let her be on the show in a significant way. They at least did that with this whole Mandy Rose thing the last several weeks and the last couple months, if you think about it, and leading into the Royal Rumble. So I'm cool with that, man. Give Naomi something to do. She deserves it. And again, if she's the one throwing out Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville and costing them a title opportunity, I call that all worth it, man. That's a payoff and a blow-off. I mean, it's the Rumble. Naomi wasn't going to have a one-on-one match anyway. It was all for the Royal Rumble. You got 30 females in there. This could be a moment for Naomi, a little bit of revenge. Again, if you look at the big picture, guys, I'm okay with this match last night. I'm okay with Mandy winning it, and I'm okay with the overall feud. Because not only does Naomi deserve it, but that showed you can give people feuds that doesn't have a title on the line. You don't have to have a title to have a feud. So I'm okay with that. Cesaro, he took on The Miz last night. This was just a testament to how strong Cesaro is. There was a moment where Miz was in the air, not even like enough time for Cesaro to really react to catch him. He wasn't jumping off the rope or anything. He was in there. He was in the air for, I don't know what the fuck happened. Miz was flying in the air. And Cesaro just caught him on the fly. just like nothing. Miz is not the smallest. He's not like 150 pounds. And he just catches him like nothing and hoists him up. This is how strong Cesaro is. I know we've seen it time and time over the years, but that's the point. Over the years, your body takes a toll on itself, man. And he's still as strong today as he was when he debuted. Amazing, man. Cesaro ends up winning this match over The Miz, but the real story here was what happened afterwards. I love the brawl afterwards. Shane McMahon is involved, trying to help out The Miz because Sheamus and Cesaro are jumping The Miz. But it's too much. They get the upper hand on Shane McMahon as well. They start beating down Shane McMahon. I saw a bro kick for the ages last night. Cesaro's holding up Shane McMahon. Sheamus comes out with a bro kick that literally took Shane McMahon's head off of his shoulders. It's still somewhere in the stratosphere. There is today a 10th planet up there in the solar system. And it's called Shane McMahon's head. It got taken off his body, guys. This bro kick was devastating. Took Shane McMahon right the fuck out. Knocked the fuck out. And then they looked at Miz, and they started to beat down on him as well. I think it was actually Miz that tried to cover up Shane to protect him. And they're like, fine, we'll beat the fuck out of you too. And that's what they did. They started clamoring, hammering down on Miz. Put him on the table. They picked up Shane. It looked like it was going to be like a double power bomb, but instead, they're so strong, Sheamus and Cesaro, that they hoisted Shane McMahon over their heads and slammed him through the Miz, through the table, the commentator table. Amazing, guys. This was a fucking badass beatdown. Love this. And I think I really loved it because I got to see the tag team champions, The Bar, looking like tag team champions, The Bar. For months, I've seen them with fucking cranberry sauce on their face, mashed potatoes doused on them, Thanksgiving food fights, holiday matches. Last week, they were getting a birthday cake shoved in their face. And now I got to see them looking like badasses, looking like champions. Was that so hard to ask? Sheamus and Cesaro are not supposed to be jokes. They're legitimate threats. You gotta act like it, man. You gotta treat them as such. That was really good to see, man. I really loved that segment. That was even better than the match itself, and the match was actually fucking decent. I'll be hard-pressed to say good, but definitely decent. Where do you guys want to go? We went on to the second hour. Vince McMahon in the middle of the ring. He introduces AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. It's supposed to be a face-to-face. But instead, Daniel Bryan is playing his character flawlessly, and he's on the outside. He refuses to get in there because AJ Styles is just this like devil of a human being, basically. And what he does, he's just a toxic waste of space to the planet, is what Daniel Bryan is basically saying. And he made it a point to look at everyone and say, I'm not the people's champion. I'm the planet's champion. And AJ Styles was funny. He's like, well, I'm pretty sure if the planet had a voice, it would say, shut the hell up. And they kind of went back and forth to where Vince McMahon was like, enough. Get in the ring to Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan, now his focus is on Vince McMahon. And he's telling Vince McMahon, you know, I would take that from a baby boomer. I would expect that from a baby boomer like you. That all you do in life is you suck the money and the wealth out of every other human being and you hoard it for yourself and you give nothing back to society or the planet. And he's like, why everyone else, all they care about, their life has been reduced to trying to get likes on social media and Instagram while you're in the back hoarding all the wealth and you won't give anything back and you're loving it and you're seeing everyone else get sucked dry and their lives becoming meaningless while your power and your wealth grows and grows. You're what's the problem today and in this world, Vince, because you've allowed an atmosphere, a platform for people like AJ Styles to thrive on. It was an epic promo by Daniel Bryan. By the way, that was damn good at yours truly, the Amplified Man, for reciting that. I know I might have been off some words, but that was damn close to exactly what Daniel Bryan said to Vince McMahon. I loved it. And AJ Styles is like, Vince, no. This is a face-to-face that you advertised. That doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be in the ring. AJ Styles takes off his vest and he starts chasing Daniel Bryan around. He gets his hand on Daniel Bryan. I think he clobbers him a little bit, and on the outside, he goes to do a 450 spud. No! Wow. This isn't a match. He went to do a phenomenal forearm. Daniel Bryan was in the ring at this point. He went to do a phenomenal forearm. Daniel Bryan, playing that heelish character, throws Vince McMahon in front of him. So in midair, AJ Styles has to stop himself. And he does. He's able to stop himself before he hits Vince McMahon. But that was enough time for Daniel Bryan to hit a running knee, square in the face of AJ Styles. Knocks AJ Styles down to the mat. Daniel Bryan runs away like a true villain. And that was a badass segment, man. That's how you set up their match for Royal Rumble. I liked it. There was some physicality, but not a lot. And a whole lot of animosity in their promo. Even Vince McMahon was taking jabs. Love that shit, man. I really do. So that is a thumbs up for sure. Mustafa Ali. You guys know I'm hard on Mustafa Ali. And it's nothing against the kid. It's just like, where do we stop this line, this rotating door of all these little dudes, man? A lot of you guys think I just don't like people under 6 feet tall. Not true at all. You kidding me? What I want is I don't want to be the biggest guy in the room when I'm surrounded by WWE superstars. If I go to a WWE Access and there's a bunch of wrestlers around, I don't want to be the biggest guy. I don't want to have the bigger muscles than these guys. I want to look at them as WWE superstars. People I can actually, even no matter my age, I can look up to. You know, and remember these awesome feats that they've accomplished and shit. And it's just, I don't want too many. We're getting to a point where soon half the roster will be hard-pressed to reach 5 feet 10 inches tall. Will be hard-pressed to hit 205 pounds. I can deal with little dudes, man. Shawn Michaels was never the biggest guy, but then you go smaller. Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. I mean, they speak for themselves. You don't even really think about size with them. But where do we draw the line? Finn Balor, man, that's a hot debate. There's still so many people that are debating that Finn Balor should have always been in 205 Live. And then there's people like, no, he's got too much talent. The Demon catapulted him to the main roster. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. But I think Finn Balor may have been the line. We can't go smaller than that, right? Here comes Mustafa Ali now. Where does it end? Does everybody in 205 Live soon going to be challenging for the heavyweight championship? And at what point do we have to stop calling it heavyweight championships if there's no more heavyweights? So it's not that I dislike or even hate small dudes. I just don't want to be bigger than the wrestlers that I'm watching. I shouldn't have bigger muscles, man. It's getting to the point where I might have to stop going to the gym just so I can get smaller than these dudes. Don't worry, I don't actually want to be, though. I want to be fucking... I like being the amplified, man. I'm just saying, like, either they gotta hit the gym more, or, you know what I mean? Like, Chris Benoit, for instance. Never the biggest dude, jacked as fuck. Now, that wasn't necessarily going to the gym, however, guys. I hate to burst your bubble. He was doing some extracurricular activities. But at least there was something to Chris Benoit. You could be like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, they are superstars in every sense of the word. Mustafa? I'm not sure yet. He's got to prove himself to me a lot more. It's got to be more about flips and dives, I assure you. What I saw last night was a good start. He was in there last night. He cut not in the ring. He cut a promo. They basically made it look like he was in, I believe, Chicago, where he was a police officer. And he was cutting a promo on how he used to run these streets as a police officer. And he used to see in people's eyes who they truly were. And how he saw when Samoa Joe was beating him down last week, what he truly was. He was basically pitting Samoa Joe in the same category as, like, the criminals he would arrest. I liked that. That's different. Now, was that on the fly? No. Was that probably done in like 12 takes? Possibly. But it was still good for Mustafa. It was seeing a different side of him. That was good. And then he went into a match with Samoa Joe. And this match went too long, I felt. I felt Samoa Joe, if you're gonna do that beatdown last week, and Samoa Joe is one of your big threats in the Royal Rumble this Sunday, Samoa Joe needs to beat Mustafa in just a couple of minutes. But no, it kind of dragged on a little bit, and I'm thinking to myself, if they have Mustafa Ali beat Samoa Joe, A, that's ridiculous. B, that's nonsensical. You just had Samoa Joe looking like a beast last week, beating up Mustafa. Now he's a threat for the Rumble, and now the next week you're going to have Mustafa beat him? Samoa Joe? But no, they had Joe eventually tap out Mustafa Ali from the clutch. So that was good, man. Mustafa Ali has to pay his dues. If I'm going to see anything from you, I'm not saying lose every week, no, because then you have an Andrade Cien situation where he's losing fucking 13 out of his last 15 matches or some shit, you know? Until the last couple of weeks. We'll get to him in a few minutes. But, he's got to pay his dues a little bit, man. So I saw two good things from Mustafa last night. Good promo. Again, it was probably done in 12 takes. But it was at least good. It was a different side of him. And then two, he paid his dues to Samoa Joe last night. Last week and last night. So, I'm not saying I'm a Mustafa fan. Relax. Far from it. He still has a lot to prove to me. But I am saying it's steps in the right direction. If Vince is truly going to have a guy like Mustafa Ali on the main roster, fighting and beating up guys like Samoa Joe and maybe one day, who knows, Brock Lesnar, and you're going to want me to believe that shit? You got to take the necessary steps. Those are two good steps for Mustafa last night. There was a New Day promo backstage I really liked. This was, what the fuck? They were talking about how everybody is asking them, what if it comes down to the New Day having to throw each other out? And they're like, everybody asks us this. Michael Cole, Tom Phillips, Corey Graves, Renee Young, Kayla Braxton, if that's her name. You? Was that Kayla Braxton? You then? Everybody. Who's next? Is Tony Schimmel gonna ask us? What happens if all of a sudden Tony Schimmel actually comes out, man. I haven't seen Tony Schimmel in a long time. He used to be the ring announcer for SmackDown, guys. And he was known for his introduction for Edge. So New Day was like, Tony, get out of here, man. I don't see Edge. Where's Edge? Edge ain't here. Get out of here. And it just made me think, man, of Tony Schimmel's Rated R Superstar. Schimmel, man. I miss Schimmel. I would take Schimmel right now on SmackDown to announce. And even though JoJo is so epically beautiful and so diviningly sexy, I would take Howard Finkel any day of the week, twice on Sunday, to ring announce for Monday Night Raw. Give me Schimmel on SmackDown. Give me Howard Finkel on Raw. But that was a cool segment, man. It made me think back of those Rated R Superstar. Oh, that was good. That was fucking good. Take that, Schimmel. And then we went into the main event, guys. So yeah, that was a little New Day promo segment. Usually I don't go over those, but that was actually good to see Tony Schimmel. Main event, this was Rey Mysterio taking on Andrade Cien. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If this was any other two individuals, I'd be flipping the fuck out right now, because I'm seeing the same two individuals for the third week in a row. Redundant bullshit. However, this happens to be two individuals we don't mind seeing every week. Okay, maybe not every week, but multiple weeks in a row. If you're gonna give me the same match, Mysterio and Almas is the way to do it, because these two are going to go out there and steal the show. That's not a suggestion or something that might happen or a prediction. That is a spoiler. They're going to steal the show. And they did it again last night, obviously. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match. The first fall went to Andrade Cien via a powerbomb from the top rope. Pretty badass, I gotta admit. And that just knocked Rey Mysterio right out. 1, 2, 3. Almas gets the first fall. The second fall went over to Rey Mysterio. And this was the Canadian Destroyer. we're starting to see this all the time, so it's starting to run its life expectancy out. But it's still damn cool when we do see it. And I don't know if Vince McMahon is going to allow any other individuals to do it. Vince bans that shit. That move was already banned. So the fact that Vince is allowing that move to be performed in WWE, that shows you the trust he has in Mysterio and the trust he is starting to have with Almas. Or as he's calling just Andrade now. So that was really cool, but they can't wear this shit out. But they put on the Canadian Destroyer, and by the way, some people call it the Mexican Destroyer. I believe it's Origins, excuse me, not oranges. We're going to Florida to get some oranges. I believe the oranges, now I'm saying oranges. Fuck me! Origins. The origins, there we go, I'm in like fucking English class now. The origins of this move, I believe, is the Canadian Destroyer. Even though a lot of people do call it the Mexican Destroyer. I believe that was adapted from the Canadian Destroyer. I'm just going to move on. Anyway, I find it funny or nonsensical, fucking just confusing bullshit that just doesn't make sense, but what does these days in WWE, that last week Rey Mysterio could not beat Almas with the Canadian Destroyer, but yet this week he does beat him with the Canadian Destroyer. Again, I guess I just think too much about this shit. Don't overanalyze it, BC. Just sit back and enjoy it. Luckily, with these two, I can do that at least. Third fall was a no decision because Samoa Joe got involved. He powerbombed Rey Mysterio on the apron. Did he get in the ring and beat up Almas too? I think he did, but it was mostly Rey Mysterio. Maybe it was just Rey Mysterio. But he beat the shit out of these motherfuckers, and it showed Joe's dominance for the Royal Rumble. So I love this. You had the victory with over Mustafa Ali earlier in the night, and then you had him showing everyone why he's a legitimate threat at the end of the night. Normally, 2 out of 3 fall match, I want to see a decisive winner. But the way this was done, showing Samoa Joe in that kind of way, I loved it. And we weren't done there. Before we faded to black, Samoa Joe got on the mic, and he talked about how he is the dominant, legitimate main threat of the Rumble. And he mic drops, and the camera's about to go to black, and out of nowhere, RKO, man. Randy Orton, literally. You started to hear the crowd kind of get a little angsty. You knew something was happening, and then boom. Orton just enters frame, already in motion for the RKO, drops Samoa Joe where he stood. That was epic. There were times in the last several months where Randy Orton was ending SmackDown, and I didn't know why. It didn't flow with the main matches that were going at the pay-per-view coming up. Or it didn't flow with the main event or SmackDown as a whole. And Randy Orton, for some reason, was ending the shows. It didn't feel right. This was a welcoming surprise. This was a welcoming ending. This was cool. Samoa Joe was the badass. He had it all figured out. It was all planned until Orton foiled his plans. Orton I love those RKOs out of nowhere, especially when it has significance. This told a story. Orton's backstage waiting for his moment to pounce. Like a true snake. He's waiting for his moment to strike. And you have Samoa Joe in the middle of the ring claiming he's the biggest threat in the Rumble. No, that was the moment Orton knew he was going to strike. I love the way that was told. And when we faded to black, it was Orton who was standing tall and Samoa Joe was stunned. This is what I love about this. Imagine Samoa Joe versus Randy Orton. Don't worry about making either of them a face. Both of them in their ruthless, diabolical, over-the-top, cerebral heel stages. I'm talking the Samoa Joe that shows up at AJ Styles' house looking for Wendy. I'm talking about the Randy Orton that fucking drove a screwdriver through Jeff Hardy's earlobe. The Randy Orton that was having house brawls with Triple H. The Legend Killer. If you take the most cerebral, ruthless, diabolical, evil Samoa Joe you can think of, and you put him with the most cerebral, diabolical, evil, ruthless Randy Orton, and you put them in a feud and a collision course to WrestleMania, that would be one of the best feuds of a lifetime if done correctly. If you let them be those characters. If you gave them that type of storyline where it wasn't just in the ring, but they were going to each other's houses. Or Randy Orton was attacking Samoa Joe in the parking lot when he was in his car, and Orton's in the back seat, like some Undertaker type shit. In a bar room. And cameras caught this brawl. You could do so much shit with these two, man. This is the type of shit where I wish I was in creative. Because if you give me those two characters, heel versus heel, which doesn't always work, I'll be the first to admit. But with this one, oh my God, man, goosebumps. Are you kidding me? That is a feud. That is exciting, man. When two guys like that are trying to outshine each other to be the top heel, the top thriving heel in the business on that roster, the top legitimate threat. I'm not going to go on and on, man, but that's what I got from that. That might have just been a simple RKO to show a message to prove a point, but I'm okay if they want to keep that going. But the only way I'm okay with it is if you let them be those ruthless, diabolical, cerebral, evil characters. The one that Joe was playing against Styles and the way that Orton was playing against Jeff Hardy. I want to see so much epic storyline being told outside of the ring with these two. Man, that would be entertaining. That would be a storyline that would captivate us to a must-see feud for WrestleMania. Hands down. That would be awesome. The Amplified Man would be at MetLife Stadium for the first time ever chanting, "This is awesome." If you gave me that type of feud with that type of blow-off and payoff. I love that ending. I really do. First with Samoa Joe, and then with Randy Orton. If it leads to something, I'm going to love it a whole lot more. But, so nobody really won that 2 out of 3 falls. It still is unfinished business, which means we're going to get another Mysterio and Almas match in the future. Again, because it's these two, I'm okay with that. I just hope Vince knows when it's ran its course. You can't have this be another Sasha and Bayley versus Riot Squad every single week type of deal. It's got to end at some point, or else I'm just going to keep seeing the same moves over and over. How many Canadian destroyers between these two do I need to see? But BC, it's cool. I'll see it 1,000,000 times. I will too. Unfortunately, there comes a time where you got to keep things special. That's all I'm saying. Altogether, that was a solid fucking show, guys. SmackDown takes the win, takes the W this week over Monday Night Raw. Raw didn't even bring a go-home show. At least SmackDown brought a go-home show. There was things in this show that got me more intrigued for the Rumble. The actual match itself, and Styles and Bryan. And we saw Becky and Asuka show, or at least Asuka, attacking Becky from behind. Asuka is showing that she's not losing this fucking championship if she has anything to say about it. What are my thoughts on the Royal Rumble? I'm going to go through over all my thoughts on the Rumble this Sunday on the podcast, guys. Tune into the channel, and during BC's Pro Wrestling Amplified podcast, the 4th ever one, I'm going to have the entire Royal Rumble preview show. I'm going to go over the card, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly my thoughts on every single match. What should happen, what I feel should happen, how I would book that shit. Maybe I'll even tell you some of that. Who knows? Maybe it'll turn into an amplified booking. I'm not promising that, but who knows? You know, sometimes I get carried away. I'm also going to do amplified Q&A, like I said, guys, this Sunday on the podcast. So if you guys have any questions for me, leave it down below in this video only. No other video in the future, this one only. And please keep it to 1 sentence. Do not make it a paragraph long. I'll try to answer as many as I can this Sunday. For now, get your coffees, kick a lot of ass, and I'll see you guys Sunday for the podcast, Royal Rumble Sunday. The time for talk is done. It's finished. The Royal Rumble is upon us. I hope you guys are excited, man. I'll see you guys Sunday. For now, holla at your boy. Peace, cause he's out. For now, the Amplified Man saying check you.